Hi, shalom. So I want to take a moment here in the middle of the day, towards the afternoon, the sun is setting soon, to share a few words. This is a very special day, auspicious day. Yud-Tet Kislev, considered one of the starting moments in the year where we can reconnect to our true essence, to our true authentic selves, connected to the Alter Rebbe in his release from prison, the beginning of really the spreading of the light of Torah, connected to Chabad and many other Hasidus. So I want to just take a moment to share a few words. And what is it really to take a moment and take a break in the middle of the day? You know, we're working, we're in the middle of I'm in the middle of work, to be honest. I still have my glasses on, in the middle of making some glass pieces, and to stop in the middle of the day when, you know, most of the thoughts, most of the actions going on in my mind in this moment are worldly thoughts. I'm working, I'm trying to figure out how to, get everything in order, get projects finished, get orders out to people, dealing with bills, dealing with life, all kinds of things like that. And then to stop for a moment. Mincha is a time towards the end of the day, just before the sun sets, to stop for a minute, take a deep breath, and recognize that there's something bigger going on in the world. Even if I did it, hopefully I did it at the beginning of the day, first thing in the day. But even if I did do that, to take a moment in the middle of the day, it's a big challenge, because, you know, in the middle of work and I'm distracted, it seems like I'm distracting myself from being productive and taking care of the worldly things that I have to take care of. But really, it's one of the most important times to stop and reconnect because of that. Because I'm in the middle of doing so many things, to stop and say thanks for all the things I had to say thanks for, and say praise to the Creator of the world for all the gifts that are happening for me and for everyone in the world, and also to ask, to make requests for how I want things to be in the world, that I want to see the world to be a better place. To stop, take a moment, take a Mincha moment, and reconnect, take a spiritual moment, even though this world is asking all the time for our attention, to go, away from spirituality, to specifically take a moment. So I took a little napkin and wrote a few notes, and I'm going to share with a couple of words with you of Torah. Yud-Tet Kislev being, like I mentioned before, being a really special time to reconnect, to connect to understanding that we really are in this life, we're in search of our true authenticity, and we're in search of our true selves throughout life. And in order to do that, we need to make an effort. And we have an amazing treasury, wealth of teachings that can lead us to that. And Hasidus, the teachings, starting with the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh, going through all the Hasidic masters, including the Maggid of Mezrich, his Yurt-Tet is today. So to light a candle for the Maggid, and in his schut, we should, really, literally, actually reconnect to our true authentic selves. And then going through the Alter Rebbe and his amazing Yeshua, his salvation that happened on this special day many years ago, and therefore so much light being spread to so many people, ongoing, and it's not stopping, it's not going to stop, it's going to continue. So I want to take a specific sefer, going back again to the Bnei Yissaschar here, and just to share a few words, a little teaching on Channukah. So the Bnei Yissaschar brings this question. He says, why specifically, in the story of Channukah, so there was a miracle happened, that there was one little, it's called a pach shemen in Hebrew, one little vial of oil was found by Judah and the Maccabees, and from that little oil, which was enough oil to light one night, it lasted 8 nights. And so that was the miracle. So the Bnei Yissaschar asked, why was it specifically called a pach shemen? A pach shemen is, what is a pach? A pach in Hebrew is a word that describes not a very special kind of a vessel. It's in modern Hebrew, pach means trash, means garbage can, right? Something that's going to be temporary and thrown out and go out. And so why specifically that? So the Bnei Yissaschar says it was specifically a pach shemen, this little vial that would be, only temporary, because it was hinting at the idea that this governing power over us in those times that seemed to be so powerful and seemed to be controlling our lives so much was temporary. That it was like Pach is temporary, and he brings a proof here saying that Pach, Pei, Chaf, which adds up in gematria to 100, is the same gematria as Yimloch. Yimloch is the ruling powers of the time would rule for however they long rule. It's called for a temporary period of time, and then things would change. So specifically a pach, something that's transitory, something that is going to change. It's not going to last forever. Going further into this, he says, if we contemplate this a little bit more, we have who were the people who did this. They were called the Chashmonaim. And the Chashmonaim were, why was it them? Also, there's another question that he brings up. Why would it be the Chashmonaim? That really it should have been descendants of Beit David, people who were connected to the Mashiach, people who were connected to bringing the Geula into the end of days. And it says there that specifically they found Pach, they found this Pach Shemim, which is, like we said before, it's hinting at the fact that this governing force that was over the Jews at that time, that was persecuting them and ruling in not a kind and fine way at all, was temporary, was something that would come and go, that would pass. So he goes further into the gematria, meaning we not only do we look at meaning and try to understand things through comparisons and stories, but we even look specifically at words. We look at what a word is made up of, what the letters are made up of, and the specific numerical value of every letter of the alphabet. So looking deeply into that, he says here, Pach Shmura Malchut L'Sha'a B'Gematria Yimloch, which is what we already said. Fosafta Nes Ner Al Pach Yeh Keren. So if you add to Pach, which we already said is 100 in Gematria, Ner, which means candle, which is what was lit from that Pach, it adds up to 350. And this is the same gematria as Keren. What is Keren? A Keren is like the horn of an animal, which could be made into a shofar, which would blow the shofar as a symbol of the coming of Mashiach, the symbol of things coming to an eternal kingdom that will last forever. So this Pach, which is temporary on its own, is temporary. It comes, it goes. But adding a candle to that, adding a ner to that, makes it the same gematria as this symbol of something that is eternal, which is the story here, which is the story of that light inside of us, that light inside of each of us, each Jewish soul that will last forever. It can't be extinguished. And he goes even further to say that really in the times of Mashiach, when Mashiach comes, when the full redemption comes, so the Keren will come through, the shofar will be blown, and then Keren, which is as we said, Pach plus Ner is 350, which equals Keren. So Keren is also the same gematria as Yimloch Le'olam Va'ed, which means that there will be an eternal kingdom, a kingdom that will last forever. So within these deeper words looking in deeper to the words of what happened in the story itself is miraculous and it's already really inspiring. But looking specifically into the words themselves that were used to describe this story, within the words themselves we can see the story, that there is such a thing as a ruling body that is temporary, that will come and that will go, and there is also something that is eternal. And in those times, that shift, taking that pach and lighting the candle and going towards the eternality. So this is connecting us to this eternal kingdom that is coming, and it should come soon and quick for all of us. So I wanted to share one other little word from the Bnei Yissaschar connected to the fact he says, why specifically is Channukah about giving thanks and praise? It's very specific. It's a holiday that's about thanking. So, we thank all the time in general, but the very the entire idea behind Channukah is giving thanks, giving praise. We say full Hallel every day for a whole week, for a whole 8 days, which is totally unique out of the whole year. It's a day of great uniqueness in being a day of really like days of thanksgiving, one after the next, after the next, after the next. So he says this is something really that is really worthwhile to contemplate, and says really there's specifically these days are about Thanksgiving. And what is Thanksgiving? When do we give thanks? We give thanks when things turn out better than normal, right? What normally happens. So it's normal, it's fine, we don't make a big deal about it. When something special about it, then we say, wow, thanks, this is amazing, right? So where do we learn this from? We learn this from our Ima Leah, from our mother Leah. Leah, when she had her son Yehuda, she said, Hapam odeh et Hashem. She said, this time I'm going to thank Hashem. And she named Yehuda after the name Hodaya, of giving thanks. Why did she want to give thanks at this point? Because up to that point, there were 4 mothers, and they knew that there would be 12 tribes. So really, if you do the math, each mother would have 3 children, and then it would add up to 12 tribes. But Yehuda was born after her first 3 children, and so it was an added joy, an added reason to say thank you. It was beyond anything that she had ever expected to happen to her, the goodness that happened there. So she named him specifically based on this word of thanks and praise. And so so really this is connected to Channukah, because Channukah is a situation where, again, beyond what could be expected, beyond the norm, goodness happened. And really until the kingdoms that were ruling over the Jewish people would fall, we're in the galus. We're in this situation where there was only so much we could do. Try to survive, do our best, and the fact that we still are feeling that and experiencing that now is one thing. But in that moment, we saw a big shift, a big turn, because what seemed to be this overruling power that was it couldn't fall, that was so strong, that it was made very, very clear that it was really only temporary, that it fell, and that there was something much bigger going on. There was something eternal going on. This is a reason to give thanks. This is a reason to give thanks all the way through until the final eternal kingdom comes through. And this I want to connect again to Yud-Tet Kislev. What is Yud-Tet Kislev? And there's so many things that could be said about it, and so many things we can learn from it. The Alter Rebbe teaching in the Tanya, one of his greatest works, explains, how you're the hero of the Tanya being the Benoni, your average person who struggles to do well in this world. It's not easy it's nearly impossible to be a tzaddik. It's nearly impossible to be perfect and righteous. And it's a very valiant, special, amazing thing to struggle, to try to be better, to try to be good, to try to be more than we were before, and grow again and again. And what does Chassidus give us? What do these teachings give us? They remind us to look inside. They remind us to look inside of ourselves and try to find that place inside of ourselves and succeed and find that place inside of ourselves, that it's this candle that's lit, that's always going to be lit, that can't be taken away from us. And no matter what struggles that we're going through, that we have that pure, untouched oil, a light that's lit inside of us that can be not only found but nourished, and to really live coming from that place. So we have so much to give thanks and praise for, especially on this day, honestly, every single day. Being in this incredible environment myself, I'm so grateful to be where I am. Living in Israel is something that I never could have dreamed of, and yet this is a dream that I'm living in real life. And I'm inviting you all here. Come and visit, come for Shabbos, come and hang out, come blow glass with me, come see me blow glass, come share, and come be with us here in Israel, because this is part of this miracle unfolding. This is part of what's happening in the world now, that light, that eternal light that will go on forever and ever. So not only can we find that inside of each of us, inside of ourselves, and we do need to make the effort to do that and find it and work with that, but this is also Israel. This is our place, finding our home, reconnecting to our true selves in this place where there is so much to be thankful for. It's beyond. I'm not saying everything's perfect. We're in a process, and yet the amount of thanks and praise that we can give for how far we've come and what's happening up to this point is it's infinite. It's beyond. It's totally amazing. So happy Channukah to everyone. Happy Yud-Tet Kislev. It should be a good year. We should all be blessed with a lot of authenticity in ourselves, with each other, unity, and to see that eternal kingdom with our own eyes together.